So I'm with the president and CEO of the College Football Hall of Fame. But first, before we get into the event and the venue and everything, I want to ask you about your career, right? You're at Aaron Exterminators, right, with Vice President of Marketing Communications. How was your career there? You were there for a long time. What did you learn from that in order to kind of set yourself up for an opportunity like this?
Awesome. So, I was at Arrow for 7 years, and prior to that, I was with the Hawks and Thrashers. So, I've kind of always had a background in sports and marketing. And I think the things that I learned at Arrow, obviously, marketing translates. If you're trying to sell pest control services, you're trying to sell people on the Hall of Fame, you're trying to sell butts and seats for, venues, it's all very similar. And the other thing I learned at Arrow is you can apply your passion really in any industry. And so one of the things that I kind of pride myself on and consider my legacy at Arrow is their sports marketing program. The first deal I ever did was it was Phillips Arena at the time, and the Hawks and the Thrashers were still here. And then the Falcons, the Braves, and now they have almost 50 properties that they have partnerships with. And they service all of those venues as well, so it's really a win-win.
Got you. And then you came here, and then you were really the first female leader to be president and CEO, right? Mm-hmm. Before that, though, you were the vice president of marketing communications. So tell me a little bit about the differences that you had to do with vice president and then now being the president and CEO of this major nonprofit story institution.
Okay. So it's very different. Obviously you still feel pride and ownership, and obviously coming in as the vice president of marketing and communications, my job was to put the spotlight on the hall, to paint it in the best light possible. And I don't think that's so different, as the CEO. I think, there's just no one else I can turn and point to.
Right.
I think that's really, honestly, one of the biggest differences.
Gotcha.
And feeling just truly responsible for all of the employees, all of, even our partners that work here, our housekeepers and our security staff. It's just a big family, and feeling really responsible for that.
Gotcha. And then what advice would you give people that want to get into marketing? Because sometimes it can be a little struggle coming out of college, trying to land a job, trying to intern. What advice would you give those trying to achieve some of the success that you have, or just get to where you are today?
Okay. So the first thing I would say is take a job. I think sometimes, especially when we're young, we're waiting for the perfect job, and we're still, especially with a marketing degree, there are so many different paths that you can take.
Right.
So take a job, and you might learn some things that you really love to do, and you might also learn some things that you absolutely know for sure now you never want to do again. And that's just as important, to learn those things. Oh, you know what, I tried that, it didn't work for me. No, I'm not an agency person, I'm going to stay on the client side. Right. So really, just don't be afraid, just dive in and then see where it takes you.
Gotcha. And then let's talk about the event that we have here today, right? The NIL Summit. What do you think the importance is of having this event, having it here at the College Football Fame in the venue like this? What have you liked that you've seen so far?
Well, we have a 5-year partnership with SANIL, and we think we're the perfect venue to host this type of event, just because of our mission. We exist to celebrate excellence, right? And hard work and dedication, and these student athletes embody that. And for us, we were built to be an event venue in addition to being a very highly interactive and immersive experience around college football. So this is kind of the best of both worlds.
It definitely is. And why do you think sometimes that NIL kind of gets that stigma of, they're taking advantage of athletes, or, it's not in the best interest of them? Why do you think it's such a bad rap sometimes when they're really trying to help athletes?
I think it was so taboo for so long that I think it's going to take a minute for public perception to shift. And I think that as these student athletes take advantage and maximize their name, image, and likeness in ways that put them in the best position to further their careers. These athletes most of them aren't going to be professional athletes.
Right.
So learning to leverage their name, image, and likeness, their personal brand, is only going to position them for future success. And I think as people see that, and as they see that this is not about these athletes getting rich,
Yep.
This is not about these athletes, truly being taken advantage of. It's about them learning how to market themselves
Right.
and promote themselves, and that is only going to help them in the future.
Right. And then the College Football Hall of Fame, you host so many great events, right? Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame is coming back another year. You're going to have this event, which, as you just said, a 5-year partnership. Mm-hmm. How do certain businesses and brands want to come in here and want to use your venue? How do they go about doing so, and how hard or difficult is the process to get this venue, to rent it out, to display different kind of events?
It's actually very easy. We have an incredible events department, and you can reach us through our website, cfbhall.com, and you can put in an inquiry, and one of our events team will certainly call back. And we work with all size events. We'll do a 25-person event in our special gallery downstairs. This event is over 600 people. We've done up to 2,500, 3,000. So anywhere from 50 to 3,000, we have a space and we can make it work, and we welcome everyone.
Got you. And then let's talk a little bit more about the Hall of Fame. What is the plans this year, right? 10-year anniversary, any big plans? What you got in store for 2023, 2024?
Okay, so our 10-year anniversary is actually 2024.
Gotcha.
Yes,
okay.
So we turned 9 in August, and that kind of kicks off that 10th year.
Gotcha.
So we're really starting to finalize our plans for celebrating 10 years in Atlanta. We think that's a huge milestone.
It is.
And really celebrate all the things that we've been able to accomplish, but also look forward. Like, what are the next 10 years going to bring?
Exactly. One of my questions.
Exactly.
Yes. Right.
So, but right now we're just focused on making sure that the experience stays, the cutting edge technology is an important part of the immersive experience. And so just making sure we stay true to our mission, that we continue to develop programs that, support that teach the values and offer students a chance to come through. We have curriculum that we put out there, again, to support whether it's a visit or just online tutorials. So continuing to fulfill our mission, continuing to grow the stature. We are the National College Football Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Continuing to pursue other large-scale events like this. We feel like not only the College Football Hall of Fame, but Atlanta is the perfect place. I mean, we're a 2-hour flight from 80% of the country.
Right. Right.
Great airport, great hotels.
Yep.
So continuing to really put ourselves in the mix for large-scale events, I think, is also important.
Got you. And then you may know this, you may not, but what is the vetting process kind of for the College Football Hall of Fame? How do you guys go about inducting, different members, every year? What's the class look like? How many people get in?
Mm-hmm. So the National Football Foundation is actually kind of the governing body that still oversees the selection and induction of Hall of Famers, but it is a rigorous process. So the very first criteria is you must be first-team All-American by one of the recognized organizations. And if you think about quarterbacks, that's a real challenge. There may be one or two first-team All-Americans in a year. And that's criteria number one. Criteria number two, you have to be nominated by your school. So you have had to have maintained a good relationship with your school. They have to want to support you. And then you have to be 10 years from your last college game.
Okay.
And those are really the top three. And then you go through honors court, you get on the ballot. Once you're on the ballot, again, it goes through another. So the ballot came out in June for the 2024 class, and that will be announced in January.
Gotcha.
But we do know there are 22 people in the 2023 class, including Reggie Bush, Tim Tebow. It's a star-studded group.
Definitely. Okay, a couple more questions. I'll let you go.
Yep.
One, if you want to be a spectator and see this great event, the College Football Hall of Fame, how do people go about doing so? If they want to just watch it and be a part of something so great, athletes get an honor, how do you go about doing so? Just kind of be a spectator, being a fan, kind of coming in and watching.
To watch the induction ceremony?
Yes.
So the induction ceremony actually takes place in Las Vegas. Yeah,
okay.
So it's about 2,000 people. And so we're not quite equipped to hold a seated dinner of that size.
Okay.
But, if you go to footballfoundation.org, they definitely sell tickets. But it's at the Aria in Las Vegas this year in December.
Okay. And then for you, back to you, what do you enjoy most about your career here and then just being the president and CEO? What do you enjoy about your role, just kind of overseeing everything?
Well, I get to talk to great people like you. I get to talk about the Hall, and I think that's one of the things I love to do most. I joke I could talk about the Hall all day. I think what we do here is amazing. We do an event. We do something with our team called First Fridays, and we had First Friday this past Friday, and I shared a video clip that is very motivational to me. It was Ernie Johnson speaking at the University of Alabama to the football players, and one of the first things he says is, "I have a get-to job. Not a got-to job." And
I like that.
I really do.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and then he goes on to say, what are you going to do to make someone's day better? Like, be a better human. How do you make someone's day better every day? And I'm like, not only do we have a get-to job, but all of you do something to make someone's day better every single day when they come here.
Right.
And I think that's special. Not everybody gets to say that.
No, that's really profound.
Yeah.
And final question for you. Yes, definitely. And last question for you. How have you liked your journey in Atlanta? I know you're originally from Florida. You've been here for 20 years. I believe you live in Smyrna with your husband and your daughter. Yes. But just what do you enjoy most about being here, raising a family? What have you enjoyed about the Atlanta scene or just the Georgia scene in general?
So I've been in Atlanta almost 30 years, which is really crazy to even say. Atlanta has so much to offer. I have worked downtown for almost all of my career, so I'm a big supporter of downtown. I think there's a lot of different things to do, obviously restaurants, attractions. My husband works for the Hawks. I spent time with the Hawks and the Thrashers, so obviously taking advantage of Mercedes-Benz and State Farm Arena and the entertainment options that we have. And Smyrna's, 15 minutes from downtown, and so we have this small town feel and community that's really close in proximity to downtown, and it's just been a great place to raise my daughter, our family. She gets to go to a lot of sporting events and concerts, and we just have a lot of fun. And I think the other thing about Atlanta, I mentioned 2-hour flight from 80% of the country, but you can drive. Right? You can get to the beach in 4 hours. You can be in the mountains in 2.
Right.
So it's just really a lot you can do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I was with Kimberly Beaudin, the president CEO of the College Football Hall of Fame. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. If we want to reach you, how can we, what's your socials? How can we reach you and kind of talk to you more?
Sure. Well, you can always find out more information at CFB Hall. My Twitter is at KHBowden15. Yep, and that's and then LinkedIn is Kimberly Hartley Beaudin.
Gotcha. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. Really enjoyed the interview. We'll see you next time.